Here we go. It says we're live. I don't know if that's true or not. And I've got a bit of hair sticking out. Let's just stick it down. And Blue Demon Brushworks can see and hear.
Oh, wait a minute, because dear, this is not good. That's it. Sorry, everyone.
Professional from start to finish. This is where.
If you can get anyone as cheap as me, you crack on. Do hope for a carvery. Hello, Scott. Blue Demon, good evening. Kevin, mwah. That's all I have to say right now.
Okay. So, hi everyone. We've not been on air for a while. As most of you, those of you who are in the Discord will know, I've not been very well this year. Had some brain issues, but I am on the mend and starting to get back into some of the other things. And the toe's going back into the streaming. So toe in stream. Trying to think what's been going on since last time. Lots of stuff been going on. Well, so for those of you unfamiliar with the format, I'll just ramble for a little bit about what's been going on recently, or possibly a somewhat verbatim summary of relatively recently, and then I'll ramble about tonight's topic, and come on, brain, come on, you can do it, and Crimson will be taking notes of any questions you pop into the chat and hurl them at me as we go, or at convenient points. That's about it.
It's already started. Heresy, and it's not a question.
Thanks, at Gilliman.
Niall, I hope I'm saying that right. I've missed you too, Kev. Thank you. Niall says, glad you're feeling better. How do you feel about new flesh eater courts?
So, new flesh eater courts. I need to stop and think, and you can work out for yourself why I might need to stop and think. I like the new models that were released, that were
Heresy.
That were sneak previewed on Saturday. They look really cool. I've segued from something. Not quite sure what had I started talking about anything? No, I hadn't started talking about anything, or had I? I don't know.
No, you hadn't. No, not at this stage. But we've got a member chat.
Oh, okay. Yes. Kevin. Kev. Hi, Kev. Hi, Paul and Crimson. Have really missed you. Yeah, it's good to be back. Thank you.
Oh, and hello to Celeste, the new kitten. Kev, want to see pictures?
Oh, and it looks like James Wood has become a level 2 channel member. Something normally happens when someone joins the channel. I can't remember what it is.
Bobster. Sorry if I perforated anybody's eardrums, then I do apologise.
Yeah. So don't worry. This isn't a hallucination. This and I will be getting onto Heresy in due course. 40k or Heresy. That's something slipped there. In due course. So stuff that's happened sort of hobby wise over the last 6 months. The Siege of Excelsis campaign has been going great guns. We're currently in the middle of chapter 2 that runs until Christmas. Got the first game I'm filming for chapter 3 this weekend, and I've just finished a mini campaign with Mr. James March, Fire Slayers versus Nighthaunt, which comes out in the new year. So that'll be the new year stuff.
Oh dear.
So, right.
Do you know what it was? It's the lobster. It's been
lobster,
that long.
Lobster brain.
The lobster has interrupted your brain waves.
My hair's more jumpy outy than it has been before, I think. You've got some exciting news, haven't you? You've not. I don't know that you've got hobby news, but you've got a new job, don't you?
Oh, I do. Not that it's very exciting in the grand scheme of things.
It's very exciting.
I've started my new little business. I have bit the bullet and left the old company, but left care, left healthcare, left NHS, left everything to do with care and gone on to something totally different. So yeah, so lap dancing's going really well.
Splendid.
Yeah, just need to work out the pole.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not. It's face painting children, which is totally the opposite. Totally the opposite. But it's events. So it's face painting, lots of glitter, pamper parties, spa parties. And yeah, it's going incredibly well. I'm booked up to Christmas. And as we've just walked up the stairs, I've took 2 new bookings for next year. So that was really quick. So yeah, it's going really, really well.
You've been working on your new Facebook page today, haven't you, as well?
I've been working on my new Facebook page. Yeah, I'm rubbish on Facebook. I've been trying because everybody's going, oh, what's your Facebook? Well, let me see your pictures. And I haven't got one, but now I have.
What's your Facebook called for when it goes live?
It's called Sarah Sparkles. That's what it's called. It is fun, Kev. It is fun. Do you know what it is? Thank you. It's actually doing something that I enjoy rather than I've got to do. So it's although it's never going to bring in mega books, well, not now anyway, but I've got lots of really good events and keep getting asked to go to winter wonderlands and paint faces. Can't go wrong with that, can you? Can't go wrong with a bit of winter wonderland and faces. So yeah, thank you, everybody.
And there is a video somewhere. And I'm not telling anyone where. I've been experimented on extensively. There's a picture somewhere where I'm entirely covered in glitter.
Yeah.
Someone saw it and said, it looks like you've been eating cake.
Well, yeah. You've got a couple, you've got another members chat there as well from James.
Okay, so James Wood, member for 33 months. Says, hey, Paul, any chance of hobby vlogs coming back? Oh, yes and no. Yes and no. Ish. So I am going to answer that in 2 parts. One part I'll come to when I'm rambling about 40k or Heresy. And the other part is it's one of the things that is more difficult to do on the old mental health. It's more of a challenge to pick up the camera and start to think and describe and be creative. The unboxings are quite straightforward because they're in front of me. I open it up and go, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. And all I'm doing is putting the thoughts that normally happen in here when I open a box to out here. So they're quite light on the brain. When I'm playing a game, there are things I can work through. There's a set sequence, and there's normally someone else there, and they can help. And people who've filmed with me recently have been incredibly helpful at keeping my brain heading in the right directions to try and get some content together. But the vlogs are trickier because I have to be sort of enthusiastic, and they're all improvised, none of that sort of planned or anything. So they're harder to do. And I've been working on the basis that I'll do the things that are easier to do. I'll get back into those before getting back into other things. So that's why my intention at the start of the year was I'm going to do one a month, and I'm going to save all the stuff up and then just release one a month. And, I just couldn't bring myself to pick up the camera. The painting time was when I was zoning out and I was trying to relax and so on. And it's trickier to do that way. So I'm going to try and get back into them, but I don't know how successful I'm going to be. But I will come back to more about that in a little while. So put a pin in that just for now, and you'll see why in a bit, or hear why. See and hear why. Should I start talking about the subject?
Let's do it.
Is that a good idea, do you think?
Sounds fantastic.
Okay. Right. So, rewind back to the spring. I can't remember when 10th Ed 40K came out, but it was either late June, so end of spring, or early July, so start of summer. Whichever. At some point in the spring, I played my last game of 9th at around about Easter with Gambit. It was Dark Angels versus Night Lords. And from that point onwards, I was looking forward with some optimism towards 10th Ed. And when they announced it and put out the indexes, I had a moderate amount of hope. I had a moderate amount of hope, and I thought, yeah, I think this might be something I might be more able to play. It looks like it's going to be less brain screw to try and get your head around absolutely everything. I thought, yeah, this might be all right. And then two things happened. The first thing that happened was they did away with open play. And open play is how I like to play 40K. I don't like the 5 points for holding primary objectives, an extra 10 if you've got more than your opponent, but less than your next door neighbor, as long as he's not got the same as the guy down the street who played last Thursday when he was in round 4. I exaggerate slightly for effect. And I find it difficult, but not impossible, but difficult to play outside of the framework of the game. I know I improvise a lot, but if I'm just playing a random game, whilst every random game I play, I want to have story, but it kind of felt like the way I wanted to play had kind of been killed off, that playing was going to take more effort. They'd sort of stripped back the difficulty of playing in one respect, but then made it more difficult in another. That was the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened was GW announced that they were retiring assault marines and bikes and attack bikes and land speeders and scouts and a whole bunch of other stuff from the Codex Space Marines. Now, I don't have a strong objection to some things being retired. It's, that happens. It's okay. But it was what they retired and the way that they and the way they did it. Because to historical 40K, Space Marines have always been about companies. And we know that a company has, the people who played before 8th Ed know that a company has a standard format: 6 tactical, 2 assault, 2 devastator. And the core of my army would always be a demi company. So either a captain or chaplain, 3 tactical, 1 assault, 1 devastator, command squad, dreadnought. That would be the core, and then I'd bolt things on. I think, yeah, this is a Space Marine army. And I had thought coming up to 10th, well, do you know what? I might not be so interested in the Primaris because they all feel just a little bit random and not put into enough context for how they fit into the structure of an army. For me, that's something that's been it's something that's been lacking in the books for quite a while. But I had thought, no, it's all right, because when I'd seen the index cards, it was like, okay, I absolutely can play. I thought, oh, I'm going to play my Blood Angels. What I'm going to do, because I had a while ago thought it was a big campaign of Armageddon and so on. But then I thought, wow, you know what? I can just play some games with Orcs and my Blood Angels. It'd be loads of fun, and we can just say it's happening on Armageddon, and that'll be all right, rather than try to wait for a whole big campaign. And I'd also thought, oh yeah, I can do some Damocles Gulf stuff, because I love the Caiaphas Cain books. I absolutely love them, and they are all set in the Damocles Gulf. And I'd looked through it and gone, oh yeah, there's Necrons, there's Tyranids, there's Eldar in there a bit, there's Orcs. What are the Space Marine chaps? I thought, oh, I could do some Reclaimers or some Bone Knives or something. And then looking through the Damocles Gulf stuff, I'm like, oh no, the Iron Hands were in the Damocles Gulf. I'm like, okay, so what I can do is when I want to play Primaris, I'll wheel out my my Fulminators, because my Fulminators, I still manage to do those in a kind of demi company type way. And when I want to do some of the first generation of Marines, I'll play historic games. I'll play a game set in the Damocles Gulf, or in the War for Armageddon, or this, or that, or the other. I thought, so that's nice. It means I don't have to sort of upscale my Blood Angels. I can go back to them and do them exactly how I've always played them. But then they made all of those units obsolete. So it didn't become about what units I wanted to pick in a game. The situation became, I can't play a game in that setting with these rules, with these books. I can't play a game set in the Damocles Gulf because my Marines can't have half the units that they used to have. And that left a really, really bitter taste in my mouth. And the first thing I thought was just, you know what? It wouldn't even necessarily be so bad if they just got rid of Assault Marines and kept Bikes, just got rid of Bikes and kept Assault Marines, but they just got rid of the lot. And yes, they said, oh, well, you can use Outriders to count as Bikes, or Bikes to count as Outriders, or Primaris Assault Marines to count as this, but they're not the same. And they're equipped differently, and they look differently, and it just feels plain wrong to me. And I went through a whole bunch of the different armies, and because I picked up a lot of the index cards because I've got a lot of armies, and I went through and thought, oh, maybe I'll do some Eldar in 10th Ed. And then I looked at, actually, they've made Eldar as bad as they were before. What? Oh wow! Big Bad Piece of Gaming, member for 21 months, says, "Hey Paul and Crimson, nice to see you back. That's jolly kind of you." And then has gifted 10 Say Hi Paul memberships. Thank you, BBP. That is awesome. Thank you very much. That's really kind.
I can't stop pressing that button at side that sends the hearts up, and I love that new button.
Okay.
So you know.
Okay. So with Eldar, for example, the fact that you could only join Farseers to Guardians, I'm like, no, that isn't how the narrative is meant to work. And every army every army I looked.
Someone else is doing it now.
No.
Sorry.
You started a trend.
I'm sorry.
And no, trends are good. Our kind of trends, they're good. Other trends are trendy and bad, but our trends are good. And I struggled to find anything I particularly wanted to play that I thought isn't going to take a lot of effort to actually play. Looking Sisters and Admech both looked all right. But at this point, I'd been I kind of been put off quite a bit. Sorry, one moment. Still no sponsorship deal, but thirsty. Talkie thirst make. Me speak English good. What's that a quote from? Or a pseudo quote from. And it was around about that time that I was filming something with James March, who was telling me about Heresy, which I had previously been pretty resistant to for a number of reasons, which I've always been discussed in live streams. And it was whilst I was off work during one of my poorlier periods. Gambit came round to see how I was doing, and we went out to grab something to eat. And I was saying, 40k, this, that, and the other. And I am wondering about Heresy. So I said, well, because the thing is, Heresy's a relatively static setting. And if I want to do Marines, proper, what I consider to be proper Marines, that's maybe the only opportunity I'm going to get. And long story short, an hour later, we were at my lockup looking for the Age of Darkness box. Like, is it under here? I don't know. Like, right. So we took it back to mine, opened it up. What's all this stuff? So I am actually working on a Heresy army, and have been for a little while now.
Proves you've been ill, though.
Say again?
Proves you've been ill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking about the Heresy.
Oh, I know. And so I was still sort of, but which legion can I play? I then came back to the same conundrum again and again and again. Which army can you play? Right, can't play Iron Hands. They get obliterated. Can't play Imperial Fists. They bog off to terror and do nothing else. What about Thousand Suns? No, they go and sulk on Prospero, then disappear into the warp. What about Space Wolf? They go and sack Prospero, then do. So there was lots of, excuse me, and wasn't just about what games could be played, but it was about having, because you can make a narrative to play almost anyone anywhere. And one of the things I have previously said was, I don't want to be doing that, because there's only so many times you can say, and this is the one company of such and such that ended up here. And I don't want to be doing that all the time. I want to be able to do things in a different sort of setting. And then I'm trying to remember what order these things happened in. So Gambit was very keen on the idea of doing World Eaters. And I said, well, if you do World Eaters, I'll do Ultramarines, because World Eaters are a massive part of the Shadow Crusade in Ultramar. And I started thinking about Ultramarines a bit more. Well, there's Word Bearers, there's World Eaters, also the Night Lords stick their oar in. also, there's lots and lots of small forces converge there, loyalist traitors. So, whilst we know what some of the stories were sort of on, no, it wasn't McCrag, was it? Where was the beacon machine? It was, I want to say Riser, but that's not right. Memory's not as good as it was. Anyway, they had the machine that lit up and effectively replaced the Astronomicon, and lots of forces were drawn to it. So I thought Ultramar, and so the 500 Worlds and the Shadow Crusade and the sort of conflux of Imperium Secundus before they all set off to Terra. Theros, thank you, James. And I thought, yeah, there's a good potential there for a sort of melting pot of different things, but I still wasn't entirely sure about how I was going to make it all work. And then I did something I haven't done for a long time. I turned to YouTube. One of the things I found, and that I've discussed with other YouTubers, is back in the day, one used to consume YouTube content a lot because that's how you play when you're not playing, if that kind of makes any sense. But what a lot of YouTubers find is that you just don't get the time to watch other people's bat reps so much. And because you make your own and you tell the stories you want to tell, it's not as big a thing that you go towards. But so I turned to Winters and his Horus Heresy battle reports, of which I have watched all of them. And a couple of things occurred to me. He does a lot of videos where he's sort of said, and we're back on Istvan 3, or we're back on Istvan 5. There are lots and lots and lots of battles around the same few events. And I started to sort of mull that around a little bit, because one of the things I'd talked to Gambit about was when we said I'd said, yes, almost everyone is on Terra, but I don't want to set games on the Siege of Terra because I just don't have the scenery for it. I just wouldn't feel like I could do it any kind of justice. And okay, not every fight has to be in the Imperial Palace, but so I kind of came to the conclusion that I don't necessarily want to tell lots of stories. I don't necessarily want to tell campaign type stories as such. As any viewers of my AOS campaigns will know, that I'm currently in the middle of my Siege of Excelsis campaign. That is a 24 episode campaign that I have planned out from beginning to end. I filmed 12 of them, doing the 13th this weekend. That is a big project. It's a big project that and it's it's a big project, and there's not always a lot of variety in it. There's not a lot, but it's driven my painting schedule quite a lot. And what I want to be able to do was I want to be able to play games in the setting I want to play them in, but them not necessarily be big campaigns. So where I've settled with is Ultramarines, and I have started collecting and painting Ultramarines. More on that in a minute. Gambit was going to do World Eaters. We said, we'll work on them together, and then we'll do some games, and it'd be great. And then, of course, watching a lot of Winter's videos, I twigged that James Marsh also had World Eaters, and I messaged James and said, "I suppose you have word bearers, do you?" He said, "Oh no, I don't have word bearers." And I said, "Oh, because I'm going to get Ultramarines and Gambit's going to do World Eaters and true to form, we're now probably 6-8 weeks later. Gambit doesn't have a single World Eater, and James has got about 5,000 points of word bearers assembled and primed. So from one extreme to t'other. So
in all fairness, James doesn't have a new baby.
No. And James does do models and stuff for a living. Yeah. But even so,
Gambit has got his hands full.
Gambit's painting rate of a model a year, I still feel is slow. There's a lot of things to do in with the Ultramarines. I think there's anything that could happen in Imperium Secundus. So there's potential to have allies of a bunch of loyalist, even traitor legions that have made it there. There's also the attack on Calth by the word bearers. There's some serious stuff there. There's the World Eaters assault on Armatura, and the new book that's just come out. Okay, when I first got it through, I thought it was a brand new book. I didn't realize it was kind of a reprint of stuff that had already been released. So my excitement seemed to be a little bit, it was already there. But even so, it's cool stuff. So there's Armatura, and then there's the Shadow Crusade. There's all sorts of stuff around Ultramar where the 500 worlds are being ravaged by enemy fleets. And I think there's a lot more scope there to have other random legions being sent to do a specific thing. So I kind of feel like there's
Gambit can borrow James's World Eaters.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be very grateful. James, I'm sure he'll be very grateful. I will let him know. So there's a whole bunch of stuff there, and what I think I'll be wanting to do is not necessarily do this is a 4-part campaign and it starts here and ends there, but more sort of today we're on Armatura and this is the scenario kind of thing. The World Eaters are doing X, Y, and Z. So I've been building and painting Ultramarines. I have 500 points painted at the moment, and another 500 points are on my painting desk. Trying very hard not to get carried away with all the different different units and so on, and what I'm hoping to do is some hobby videos of my painting Ultramarines. Probably not going to do it as a probably not going to do them as sort of random vlogs. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how all this is going to work, but I'm thinking of doing a painting my Mark 6 Ultramarines video, painting my scenic bases video, painting my Rhino video. I'm not sure, but I want to try and do some hobby content around Heresy. And that's not to say, this isn't just, incidentally, this isn't to say I'm never going to play 40k again and I'm never going to do a 40k vid. I absolutely will, but I'll probably be more, I don't know, they won't flow as easily and as readily as they did back in the day. I quite fancy. I was looking at my Iron Hands because my Iron Hands were the chapter I had thought I'd play a lot of in 10th because I had got quite a bit already and they're easy to paint and quick. And I got some Primaris and a lot of first generation stuff. And then they wrote out half my units, like my unit of 10 bikes. But I was looking at them going, well, you know what? What I could still do, I could do some stuff with some of the units. Like I could do some stuff on a Space Hulk with lots of Terminators. And then I had a bit of inspiration from the Emperor's Finest. It's one of the Caiaphas Cain books. Excuse me. So it's not that I'm not going to do 40k. It's that it's probably going to be a bit more dotted throughout the place because what I want to do is what I want to do what I enjoy, and I have been doing a lot of that. I had great fun with the Claw. We played Star Wars Legion, and there's definitely going to be some more Star Wars Legion at some point. The Claw has an amazing new job, which means we don't get to game on Friday nights anymore, unfortunately. So it's been harder to line our diaries up, but definitely want to do some more Star Wars. I will do some 40k at some point. Oh, Big Bad Peter Gaming, Super Chat. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Which mark armor will you mostly be using for Ultramarines? How would you suggest someone to start Horus Heresy? Okay, disclaimer, I haven't played a game of it yet. I have the Age of Darkness set, and that's not a bad start. You get 2 characters, 30 or 40 tactical Marines, 10 Terminators, a Dreadnought, and a Spartan. That's that's about a 1,500 point list. It's not the best 1,500 point list, but it's pretty good. The question about the marks of armor is interesting because I've been trying, or I'm scratching my head about the marks of the armor. The Corvus armor is lovely to paint. Narratively speaking, though, the Corvus armor was the really new modern stuff that was coming out towards the tail end of the Crusade and the start of the Heresy. And Horus contrived so that his traitor legions got the majority of it. So it was rarer in the loyalist legions. Also, some of those legions were tens or hundreds of thousands of Astartes, and they won't have all been upgraded at once. So what I want to have is a variety of different marks of armor across my army to represent a couple of things. If we were talking before the Heresy broke out, before the betrayal at Calth, I might have said, actually, no, this is a company, so they should all be equipped the same, and I'd have been a lot more about uniformity. But because the Ultramarines were so decimated and they will have had to reorganize, I think that's perfect for them being that they won't have looked at what marks of armor the units had when arranging the their new companies. So I want to have a mix. The 2 tactical squads I've already painted are Mark 6. What have I got so far? I've got a chaplain from the old Conquest set. One of the things that came was the Casafracti captain, so Praetor, and the chaplain, both Heresy style. So that Heresy chaplain is now is the first HQ I've painted. I've painted 2 10-man Corvus squads, Mark 6 squads, and 2 rhinos. And on my painted desk at the moment, I've got dreadnought and a support squad with special weapons, and that takes me almost to 1,000 points when they're done. So I want to have a mix of different patterns of armor. What's a little bit hard, what's tricky is that Mark IV armor is a different scale to the others. They are noticeably shorter, which is a bit frustrating. But I do want to have some Mark IV units, so I might do some jiggery pokery with the scenic bases. Great tip that James March gave me: some are deeper than others, so put the Shorts Marines on the deeper bases so they all kind of match out, which is good. Sarcastic Monkey member for 14 months says, welcome back. Thank you, Sarcastic Monkey. Much appreciated. And
I've got some comments and questions when you're ready.
In just a moment.
Don't want to throw you off.
Mark V armor, by and large, wasn't a production line mark of armor. It was a result of suits having to be hybridized because of battlefield losses and supply line issues and so on. So it's kind of a mishmash of different armor suits. Now, I looked at that and thought, oh, I can kit mash all these things together, and then I'm like, calm down. That's an undertaking that's too big. There are limits. But the other thing I am specifically doing, or trying very hard to specifically do, so I haven't bought much of the Forge War stuff. I bought a little bit because I wanted one of the special units and a couple of the characters. I absolutely have to have Remus Ventanus for the battles on Calth. Absolutely, there's just no question there. So I've got a couple of the Forge War stuff. But what I am trying very hard to do is stick to the new plastic kits, because they are releasing them all the time. We saw the preview on Saturday of the Assault kit, and I don't want to be getting a load of Forge World stuff that is going to be replaced, because it costs twice the price of the other stuff, when you especially when you factor in things like element discount and stuff like that. So yes, questions and things. Wolf Corgi member for 27 months. Glad you're back, Crimson. Any tips for getting rid of glitter? It gets everywhere. Nice to see you too, Paul. It gets everywhere.
Yeah. What I would suggest, and this is really
flamethrower.
This is like a top tip.
Oh, okay.
This is a top tip. What you just have to do is go with it.
That's what I say, live with it. Yeah.
Just go with it, because I've really made my sister have a phobia about glitter. She's got a serious phobia about glitter. So yeah, just go with it. And just yeah, that's it. If you see some, don't get stressed. If you come here, there's loads of it everywhere. It's glitterized. Stairs, Lemmy, Paul. Yeah, just have to go with it.
But I have to say, the shiny Christmassy glitter beard looked amazing. Although the glue did take 3 washes to get out.
Yeah, well, it's worth it. Pride must abide. You can't not go for it, can you? If you're gonna do it. Hi, Mike.
I'm gonna write guinea pig on my forehead.
I could do you in glitter.
You're all right.
Oh, okay. Unicorn.
Have you got a stencil that says guinea pig?
No, but I could make one.
Whatever. I think I'm going to be featuring in lots of portfolio pictures on the new website, the new Facebook page, aren't I?
He wishes.
Come on. Did you decide about the logo? Are you?
I'm going with the crimson logo. Yeah, just a very sparkly pink. Yeah. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Did you say you had questions for me?
yet. Just bear with me. I am just.
Okay.
That's it. Right. Okay then. Yeah. You need glitter. You could do some models with glitter. That's what I reckon.
Maybe 40k Empress Children.
Think about it.
Maybe 40k Empress Children.
Okay then. So Minipod, right at the start when you just introduced us again for the first time in a while, said when are we getting the Winters 13 versus Paul's Bad Moons round 3?
So don't know. There is nothing planned.
Everything works with glitter, Blue Demon. Everything. You're absolutely right. Glitter on anything.
There's nothing.
Makes everyone smile.
There's nothing planned for any 40k with Winters. We've had some preliminary conversations about doing some Heresy when my army is at a playable size, but there's nothing scheduled yet. I'm only scheduling a relatively short period ahead at the moment because brain.
Okay, so on a serious note about the glitter, a damp cloth just gets it all away. That's all you need, Mike. Sorry about that. Right. So Blue Demon said right at the very beginning, when you were talking about the painting, he said, I'm into that. That's why my painting streams have fallen by the wayside a bit. I think has obviously been.
Was that Moog?
Blue Demon?
That's Moog.
Is that Moog?
That's Moog.
Oh, right. Okay, it's Moog.
He had
Moog's incognito.
So no, Moog, and I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong. Moog's Little Figures, he had to rename it because YouTube thought he was trying to plagiarize a 30-year-old amplifier producer that was called Moog, because Moog's such an unusual word. Yeah.
No way. Oh, so this is what explains it then. So Blue Demon Brushwork says, I've done models with glitter, it works. You see, I should have known from that with Moog. All right, okay. It's a bit of a mouthful, that Moog. Seriously.
What's his channel name?
Okay, that's all right then. I still call you Moog because it's very confusing. So Sanjar2776 said, would you like to try live painting sessions? Just the painting, some odd figures, just sort of talking to us. We have spoken about that before, haven't we?
We have.
And we have sort of said it's the logistics of it that are a bit of a nightmare. You know, where the camera would go, and it's that sort of thing, isn't it?
This is where the computer is. That's in my office where I do my work, my day job work.
My
tiny little office.
It's full.
And all the paints and stuff are in a different place. This can't really be located there. That can't really be located here. It will be about getting all that set up. And again, at the moment, it's about doing what's straightforward.
Yeah. But it is something that we've talked about. It would be quite nice, actually.
Because it is something we talked about doing together as well, because you haven't done any hobby for quite a while because you've had a lot of other things going on. The day job was insane to you for months and months and months. And now you're working really hard on building up your business. So
we've had a lot of trauma.
It has been...
It's been traumatic.
It has been a roller coaster of a year.
So yeah, it really has. So we have thought about it, and I'm sure that it'll be something that we'll look at again if we can logistically make it work, can't we?
Yeah.
So Immortan Joe says the removal of the core units is to me super, and then that word that
egregious.
That's it. I don't even know what that means.
Bad of them,
Joe. But right, okay.
It was like the worst, most least forgivable thing they could possibly have done.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. That's what Joe says. Mm-hmm. And Scott says, honestly, Chaos Knights aren't that hard to play in 10th. Alpha Legion were everywhere and can easily be on either side.
Was that were they the same
That's
comment?
Scott.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was Scott.
Yeah, that was Scott. Yeah, that was the same comment. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just 40k has just slid down my enthusiasm list for the reasons outlined earlier, and that's the sad truth, really. It'll come back up. Alpha Legion, yeah, but the thing with Alpha Legion is, yes, they can be everywhere, but in the majority of the books, there's like 10 of them here or 20 of them there. And admittedly, I haven't read all the Horus Heresy, and I haven't read any of the Siege of Terror. No one spoil the end yet. But but they've never felt like a stand-up army to me. They felt like individuals, more sort of stealth and subterfuge. Okay, we've got Blue Demon Moogworks, member for 36 months. How much are you looking forward to the release of 11th Ed? The way it seems to be going is 40k is the competitive game, and with Horus Heresy basically being 7th Ed coming back, and Old World being to a significant extent Fantasy Battle coming back, it feels to me like they're targeting the games at different audiences, at different player bases, different demographics. That's the word. So I don't know at this point if they will ever produce a version of 40k that I want to play again. That a version of 40k that will make me as enthusiastic and prolific with it as I have been in the past. You see, what I quite like is I'd quite like them to bring other races out for Heresy. I would love a Great Crusade setting. I'd love to be able to play against orcs and Eldar and various other races. Some you can't because they weren't around then. And to an extent, I could always get my old 7th Ed codices out and see if I can sort of convert them a little bit. But it's effort versus reward. At the minute, I'm about doing what's most straightforward and enjoyable, and not putting undue pressure on myself. I don't want to reverse my progress or slow it or stand on it or
carry on. I've got lots.
All right.
Thank you. Teutonic Knight says that he'd like to see more War of the 10 Legions.
Yeah, that was a good campaign. Really enjoyed that, and it's very possibly something I will return to, depending on what happens with the Chaos Space Marine Codex. There are a number of my Chaos Space Marine Legions at the moment I just don't feel I can play because all the CSM rules are around worshipping chaos, which works great if you're word bearers. And yes, I have got a big word bearer army. And the reason for saying that is because before I was building up all those chaos armies myself and playing them all solo hammer because it was lockdown and COVID and stuff. But realistically, if I want to do that again, I'll be looking probably for opponents. But like I said, 40k's further down the list at the minute. Okay.
Aaron says that he'd recommend the Age of Darkness box or Battle Group box.
Yeah.
The character has a heavy weapons pack, special weapons pack, and 2 rhinos.
That is almost exactly what I first did. Was get a couple of rhinos and a special weapons pack.
There you go.
Oh, should I? That's just popped up.
Yeah.
Scott, member for 36 months. War of the 10 Legions. The most important question: who was winning? There's a bit of paper down here somewhere with it written in pen. Well, no, that was a consent form for my appendix, I think. This isn't it. That's transfers for. I think I've lost a bit of paper.
Was it just a white piece of paper, handwritten?
Handwritten with.
All right.
You didn't.
No, I've not. No.
Because it was with this one, because this is the one I was using to track the channel growth. I might have to go back and count them up again. I tell you who wasn't winning. The World Eaters and the Dark Angels got an absolute hammering. They were on nil point, if I remember rightly.
Scott says, given new kit for MK3 worth waiting for. It was worth waiting for. Worth waiting for MK4 kit.
Okay, so given we got a Mark III kit,
yeah,
is it worth waiting for a Mark IV kit?
Exactly.
The thing is, they do already sell a Mark IV kit, and it is in the Horus Heresy branded box, and it's not so old. So I just don't imagine they're going to prioritize doing that over doing other things. I don't see what that gets them.
Yeah, he's not frozen, by the way. Are you? I'm just going back.
It's finished.
Oh, right. I'm just checking.
You haven't touched your wine gums.
I've been busy.
Oh.
Of us have been busy.
She normally sits there eating them instead of going, you gotta have one. Because I have to talk.
Tiamat Delode, if that's the way. That
Tiamat.
Oh, Tiamat. Okay. Thoughts on 30k Emperor's Children with demonic Fulgrim, and then thoughts if it will influence 40k Fulgrim.
So, Tiamat, in the living room on one of the shelves, there's that little sort
it's not him, is it?
No. There's that little plastic cartoon dragon with the different coloured heads.
Oh, yeah.
That's Tiamat.
Oh, is it?
Did you ever watch the kids' programme Dungeons and Dragons?
You see, I never thought you'd be able to type that eloquently.
Yeah. I've forgotten the question now.
Okay, so thoughts on 30k Emperor Children?
So I like the new Fulgrim model, and I'll be quite honest, I think you could just lift and shift into 40k. I don't think they will, obviously. I say obviously, I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe after the amalgamation of the Forge World and GW websites, on which I will pass no further comments. Maybe after that might be a direction they go where some of the things spill over. Not sure, but it is a gorgeous model and I really like it.
Christian says, Paul, have you caught some of Liam's new studio? I think it looks great.
No, I haven't seen any of it.
Okay. William Willis, who is, I can't believe this, I have to say, in Antarctica. William Willis. Wherever can you get a signal in Antarctica?
I was going to say, what's the weather like?
It's amazing. Is it cold? Are you in an igloo? Have you got your thermals on?
I think...
All that. Shush. It's not about you right now. I'm just asking questions. Are you in an igloo? Have you got a nice cup of coffee? Have you got your thermals on? That's what I just need to know. And why are you there? Apart from making snowmen, I can't think of a reason, really.
Scientific research.
I suppose. Anyway, William Willis says, would the new Orc what?
Someone broke Crimson.
Orc Codex in the spring. 24 rekindle 40k enthusiasm ? Green goblins crossed. I think he's smacked up in an igloo.
It all depends what they do with it. It all depends what they do with it. Some of the codices. Hang on. No.
Careful, I can smell. I can smell steam.
I've got to be careful about what I know and what I don't.
Oh, right. Sorry.
So some of the 2 codices that have been released so far, when I've looked at them, I've thought, yeah, I can see this makes sense in a way to play, and I could have fun with that.
It's Kev's kitten.
Aww.
Oh, distracted by a kitten. Oh, gorgeous. Sorry.
What was I saying?
Oh, sorry. You see, I've been trying not to do that and being very quiet, but I got all excited about kittens and Antarctica.
Do you remember what I was saying?
No, but somebody will.
Okay.
Help, Moog!
So I can see it's just
There
on the.
you
No,
go.
I can't remember. This is something totally
right,
different.
Okay.
William Willis is saying he's at McMurdo Ice Station. That was featured in an episode of Archer. I didn't realize it was actually the real place.
That is amazing.
Okay. Tonic Knight 92 super chat. Thank you, Tonic Knight. The problem narratively with CSM right now is the Dark Pact is overall faction rule, and that isn't going to change. Well, I hope it does, because if it doesn't, then my Iron Warriors and my Night Lords go on the shelf for the foreseeable future. Pooh. James March said 2 codices. 2, yes, that is what I was saying. So I looked at the Tyranid one and thought, yeah, I can see how I could have some narrative fun with that. And to be fair, I saw the same with the Space Marine one as well. I quite like the thingies they did. But I was put off the Space Marine one for other reasons. So it will depend on when I get my hands on it, whether I think this is going to make it easy and fun to play my orcs, or whether it will feel like a challenge. So it will all depend. It will all depend.
Okay, so. Hang on. Where am I? Okay, Sarcastic Monkey says, if the stars would ever align, would you be open for a game of Heresy versus late Heresy? Slight corrupted world eaters. It's like the corrupted world eaters.
In theory, if the world should ever align, let's talk.
Aaron says GW suggests that you could use Orcs and Eldar with the Heresy rules in the old edition.
Yeah. And if I don't know, that could be interesting. Could they bring out books for those? I don't know. Interesting thought.
Okay, just before, because I think we're going to wrap up, won't we, very shortly.
Yeah.
So, but I've just got a couple of, well, there's 3 actually, things from Discord that have been sat there for a little while. So Sarcastic Monkey says, as you have said on a few occasions, you feel like Heresy has fewer stories yet to tell. Which of these are you interested in telling?
So I've kind of discussed that to an extent, talking about I want to do some games set on Calth, I want to do some games set on Armatura, I want to do some stuff in the Shadow Crusade. I've got a stack of drop pods, old 40k drop pods that are now the 30k drop pod models, standard drop pod models. And I sort of thought, I want to do a drop pod assault army. So there's my plan. Right this minute, my plan is to just build up Ultramarines and be able to tell all sorts of different stories. So like when when they do plastic breaches, I'll be like, yes, breaches, breach company, ha, and so on. And the stories, it'll be a little bit of a different way around. It's more going to be. It's going to be more a case of wanting to play a game and then working a story around wanting to play the game, rather than thinking of the story I want to tell and work out how I'm going to do it. So that's the flip in my brain. Heresy for me isn't going to be about narrative campaigns. It's going to be about games and then wrapping a story around them.
Also from Discord, Aaron says, with the reveal of the Night Lords upgrade for CSM, what would you like to see for the other undivided legions?
Well, I'd like to see a proper warsmith for Iron Warriors. I'd like to see more artillery pieces for Iron Warriors. Alpha Legion, it's a tricky one because all the things I fit narratively don't really fit in the games of 40k. That's more sort of them sort of being sneaky and infiltrating, and it's less about the models than the rules or the setting. I would like to see Fallen Dark Angels as a faction in their own right. I'd like to see them retcon it from just a couple of random Marines here, there, and everywhere. I would like to what was I just saying?
I don't know, I'm just looking at that super chat there, sorry.
Okay.
We were talking about the Lord's upgrades.
Yes, I was saying I'd like to see Fallen Dark Angels as a Fallen as a faction in their own right. What are the other undivided? Alpha. Word bearers. Word bearers don't need anything. There's the leaning of all the CSM stuff over the last couple of years has been heavily towards the demonic, which means they've already got everything I'd want to give them. It's the other ones that lean further away from that I would want to see having more stuff. But I don't think they will, to be honest, because GW seem to want 40k Chaos Space Marines to be significantly departed from Heresy. They seem to want to make a clear distinction that these ones have been so massively corrupted over time, they're all demonic, and even if they might have started here, they're there now. Whereas for me, it's always been about a spectrum and a journey, and certain companies or war bands might be back here and not very corrupt, and other ones might be way over here. There's a couple on here. Should I do?
Yeah, do those. I've just got one more from Discord from Joe.
Okay. Really? It doesn't appear on my screen. Jordan Carter. Can't speak for Iron Warriors, but my Night Lords, I explained the Dark Pact away as Kurz's prescience manifesting in the Legion. Yeah, okay. I can see that. I can see that. It again comes down to it being with so many things that don't work for me narratively in 40k. It's effort to explain them all. It's effort to be able the sort of what I have to put in to play a game of 40k and make it fun and make it fit the narrative and make it fit the kind of game I want to play is much greater than to play other games at the moment, and that's why I'm leaning away from it to an extent. But yeah, I do like that though. You could sort of say this is their sort of glimpse of the future kind of thing. Yeah, I'd never considered that. Thank you. That I may well use that at some future point. I'll keep that one in here. that said, it'll probably leg it out the other ear as soon as my bed hits the pillow. No, my head hits the pillow. Sarcastic Monkey says, if 40k ever gets to the point that you would consider getting rid of your Night Lords, think of me. Love what you've done with them. Well, okay, should I ever, I will, but I will forewarn you that is incredibly unlikely. I prefer to hoard my minis. I don't like to get rid of them.
This is very true.
Years and years and years ago, I did sell some when I was on my uppers, and it hurt. It hurt a lot.
Right, are you ready for the last one?
No, there's another.
Oh,
there's two more on here.
There are.
Sorry. James Wood super chatted. You can run your guard in Horus Heresy. Now that I hadn't thought of, because my guard are Ultramar guard, so they are in Ultramar. I need to rebase them all. That's a lot of bases. I might have to get the Solar Auxilia book now. Thanks, James. Mad Dog Carl, member for 25 months, says, hi. And Ben Pattinson, welcome to level 1 Discord access. I think that's, again, don't adjust your set. I'm not, yeah.
I was going to say crazy, but you are, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'll do this last one from Immortan Joe says, do you intend to adhere to which specific character can join units, or do you plan on using narrative common sense, e.g. a Primaris joining an assault squad? And then he's put RAW, which I don't know what that stands for.
Rules as written.
Only firstborn can join firstborn units.
So this is where it then becomes trickier, because I don't like the restrictions that are in place for some of the armies, but the more I deviate, the more I have to think about it, the more I have to explain the exceptions I'm making in videos, and the more abuse I get from well-meaning members of the community who shout anonymously into the void, "That's wrong! You're doing it wrong!" To be fair, there aren't that many of them, but again, it's the amount of effort, and I also then have to think about, well, actually, does that? Not that I particularly care too much about game balance, but it's easy enough when I'm doing solo hammer, which I don't do that much of anymore because it is a lot mentally harder than playing an opponent. When I'm doing solo hammer, I can just decide and go, it works, and that's fine. And if I think one side's, absolutely smashing another, I might find a way of mitigating that because I've done something off the cuff and it's had an unfortunate effect. It's a lot harder when you've got an opponent and you've invited someone around to your home to play a game against, and then you say to them, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to use these 2 rules that you're not meant to," and you all died. It's trickier and it stresses me more because it makes me think, have I broken the game? Is this a problem? Is that a problem? A lot of the custom scenarios I play, I do get kind of stressed about them because I don't want to just curb. I don't want to either curb stomp or appear to curb stomp. And game's got to be fun. Now, the folks I play are all amazing, and everyone takes it all in exactly that in that way, but doesn't mean it doesn't have an effect, doesn't make me wonder. So I tend to shy away from that at the minute.
I want to ring my little bell.
Go on.
It's cake time.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Cake time.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling. It's cake time. So I've got some shout outs.
Oh yeah, the shout outs and thank yous.
Yeah.
So the first thank you is to Crimson for keeping me sane and plying me with questions and tapping to you folks. So thank you, Crimson.
You're welcome.
You may now thank other people.
Okay, so member comments first of all. So Big Bad Peter, 21 months, used his comment. Kev, 36 months. Mad Dog Mark, 25 months. Scott, 36 months, and Sarcastic Monkey, 14 months. It feels like longer. No offense, Sarcastic Monkey. Feels like you've been around forever. James Wood, 33 months, and Blue Demon, who I now know is Moog, who would like hiding, 36 months. So thank you for those. Super chats, thank you from Big Bad Peter and James Wood, Jordan Carter, and Teutonic Knight, and Sarcastic Monkey for their super chats. Really appreciated. Thank you very much. Welcome to James Wood, who took his level 2 membership, and also Ben Patterson, level 1 Discord access as well. So it's been a busy night. So thank you to Big Bad Peter also for the 10 memberships, and the it's positive. No, it's positive. Yeah, of course it is. I'll tell you if it wasn't. You know me by now. And I definitely would tell you. So the people that took up Big Bad Peter's memberships were Jack and Lucrative, Trade Ruskin, I hope I'm saying these right, Grave Walker, Mark Preston, Southern Wolf, Lee Shaw, Robert Saxon Nage, and Wayne Welly. I love Wayne Welly. How fabulous is that? And Doug Hilditch all took up the 10 gifted memberships. So thank you very much. Wanted to say, I just wanted to shout out a big, massive thank you for all the well-wishers that have sent lovely messages over the last few months, to Paul and I, just to say they were supporting us. And it's just lovely in our little community. And all the messages about, I'm not going to harp on about it, but my little dog got ran over. It was an horrific time. You know how much I love my dogs. But I got a lot of well wishes for that as well. So just made me know that we weren't on our own.
And there were a lot in the Discord as well.
Yeah, I know. I saw in the
Discord.
Those, so thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. It was really kind. And it's been lovely. I have not forgot about Paul Fest. I am going to arrange that. I'm going to go and see Ed, and hopefully going to arrange it there, because I think it was going to be there in the first place. But I'm going to go and see him and see what he says. So, but thank you all very, very much. It's much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you once again to Crimson. Sterling job as always. Anyone who's picked up a membership who has had, if anyone's having trouble getting into Discord.
Well, Ben's got Discord access. I think he's done it, I think.
People joining up on here, though.
Yeah, might not.
If there's an issue with how to get onto it, just there should be somewhere on the YouTube site a contact me thing, because I do sometimes, I have a dedicated email that comes from YouTube, and I do sometimes get emails from people. So if you've signed up and you're having trouble, email me on that, because I can't remember. It's been a long time since we downscaled the memberships. It's been a while since I've looked at them. One of the things I want to do when I'm getting a bit better is look at the membership, see what I can do, and look at Patreon as well. There are about a dozen people who have stuck with me on Patreon for a very, very long time, and it's warmly appreciated. And I want to make sure that I'm giving something back. So when I'm a little bit better, I'm going to start to think about all that. But if you've signed up for a Discord membership, and you have trouble getting on, find the email link and get in touch, and I'll sort you out. I'll make sure it's sorted.
When things are a little bit calmer, I think I'll go back on Discord because I've been off it for a little while. There's been so much going on, so I'll go back on there.
I'll be honest, I haven't been on it a huge amount.
I've seen all the well wishes, so again, thank you, but just not being as active as I normally am. So
it's been a very
thank you to the
difficult year.
moderators as well, because they're doing a brilliant job. So thank you to them. They're great.
Okay, well, on that note, thank you all for joining us this evening. It's been really nice. It's been nice to talk hobby. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, give us 2 or 3 weeks and we will put something else in there about the next one. Yeah?
Yeah.
Whenever that will be.
We'll, watch this space.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take care.
Thanks, bye.
Bye. Bye.